Yet another anime where the main protagonist is a necrophiliac. Oh boy! Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy here today to review the anime Sankarea. So Sankarea follows a high school boy by the name of Chihiro Furuya who has this obsession with all things zombies. He loves zombie books, zombie comic books, zombie TV shows, zombie movies, you name it. If there's a zombie in it, he loves it. And he has this weird fantasy where he actually ends up dating a zombie. And one day his cat dies and he's like, oh man, I'm kind of sad that my cat dies. And he comes up with the brilliant idea of resurrecting his cat by using this spell book that he found while cleaning out some person's house. I forget whose house it was, but he found this book that tells him how to resurrect the dead. And while he's trying to resurrect his cat, he meets this girl by the name of Rhea, a girl who's trying to escape the torment of her overly protective father and her brutal mother who gives her verbal abuse all the time. Together they figured out how to make the revival potion by using poisonous hydrangea plants and successfully revived Babu. But secretly, Rhea took some of the potion with her that she'll later use to try to kill herself, being that it is from a poisonous leaf. But it doesn't work. And after a series of unfortunate events, Rhea actually ends up falling to her death and dies. But because she took that potion, she gets revived as a zombie. And it basically follows Chihiro and Rhea's blooming relationship as she learns to kind of deal with life as a zombie. Now, I was requested to watch this anime by one of my subscribers, Ben Tuttle, and you all voted for this anime to be one of the animes that I reviewed for July. And I gotta say, it's a decent anime, but it's nothing really special. First off, as always, the animation is really solid in this anime with some really beautiful scenes now and again. Some of these scenes were just breathtaking to look at, and there were some unique character designs as well. I found it funny and rather clever how the design for Chihiro's hair made it look like he had cat ears. Had to sneak it in somehow, didn't you? Now, to be honest, I really didn't find the main story of the anime to be all that interesting or even unique. I mean, we've seen this story told 1,000 times over. It's really nothing special. But some of the side stories and backstories were really interesting and enjoyable. I especially loved Ranko's backstory that kind of details how her relationship and love for Chihiro began. It was quite interesting and rather charming. I just really love little kid relationships in animes. I find them so adorable and cute and touching, and this anime is no exception. Another really good backstory, and is probably the best backstory in this entire anime, is the backstory with Rhea's father and stepmother. This backstory gave us so much insight on the two most despicable characters in this entire anime and gave us some understanding as to why they behave the way that they behave. Now, does that excuse them for their behavior? No, it doesn't. But it clarifies so much and brings a lot of things to light that if, they didn't bring that up, I would just continue hating those characters. But because I saw this backstory, it makes me go, I sort of kind of understand why they behave the way that they behave. Doesn't excuse them, but it clarifies so much. And I really applaud the anime for showing this element, making the two most hated characters in this entire anime three-dimensional instead of the one-note despicable characters that we already hate. And the one side story that I really like in this anime was with Meru and her friends. I thought that entire episode was so enjoyable and funny. And at a point in the episode, I was just like, can we just follow these characters? Because they are the most interesting and the most enjoyable characters in the entire anime. If the show was about them, I might have enjoyed this anime even more. And speaking of those three characters, some of the characters in this anime, mostly the side characters, were enjoyable and some had very interesting backstories that shined a light on the characters and gave us some insight, as I mentioned earlier with Ranko's backstory and Rhea's father and stepmother's backstory. And you also got some fun comic relief characters in this anime as well. Like there's this one dude who's kinda like friends with Chihiro, and he likes to talk about hooking up with hot girls, and he gets jealous that Chihiro's always with these hot girls. I enjoyed him a lot in the anime. And then you got these two maid characters that every time I saw them in the anime, I just had this big smile because I enjoyed seeing them. They were ridiculous and a lot of fun. Sadly, they're not in the anime that much, but they did leave a lasting impression with me. And that's really all the things that I enjoyed about this anime. Now we get to the stuff I didn't really enjoy about this anime. As I mentioned earlier in this review, I found the main story of the anime very uninteresting, boring, and just straight up cliche. I mean, we've seen this story told a million times over, and it doesn't help that the two leads of the anime aren't that interesting as well. I mean, they're not bad, it's just there's nothing really special about them. There's nothing really unique about them. They don't really have much character development given to them either. And their relationship is very hollow and standard. It's nothing special at all. And that's a big problem when you made them the main vocal point of the entire anime. I mean, Reia's nice and pretty and Chihiro loves zombies, but other than that, there's nothing much about their characters that make them stand out. Hell, the supporting characters stood out more than the two leads. That is a shame. And kind of going hand in hand with the weak development of our two leads, there wasn't a lot of development given to many of the characters, and there wasn't a lot of exploration of some story elements that wasn't clarified by the end of the anime. The characters that I personally felt like needed more development in this anime was Chihiro's entire family, including himself, his sister Mero, his father, and his grandfather, especially the grandfather. This is a very interesting character, and I feel like there's some secrets that he's hiding, or it's because of old age that he doesn't remember these things, but they kind of subtly hint that he knows something about resurrections and stuff, and I thought they were going to explore that more by the end of the anime, but nope. It's one of the story elements that don't get picked up or completed by the end of the anime. Another interesting story element that was brought up but never fully explained, and it kind of ties in with the grandfather, is Chihiro's mother. Now, I don't want to give away what it is, but it is very interesting, and I wanted to know more about Chihiro's mother and what happened to her and all that good stuff, but they never ever explore it ever again in the anime, which really sucked, and it just left me hanging like, well, what happened to the mother, and what is the mother? Where is she? And yes, guys, I know they explain it in the manga, but this is the anime review, and the fact that they did not clarify it at the end of the anime is disappointing. It's one of those, you want the answers? Go read the manga. I hate those. Another big issue in this anime is that the tone of the anime would flip-flop from serious to comical sporadically. There was this one scene nearing the end of the anime where I couldn't even tell whether or not this scene was supposed to be comical, was it supposed to be funny, or was I supposed to take it seriously? It just really took me out of the moment. I was like, damn, dude, could you pick one tone and stick with it? Are you trying to be funny or are you trying to be serious? Pick one. Or at least have a good balance between the comedic moments and the serious moments. There was no good balance in this anime. Now, this last thing is not a con against the anime. It's just a little nitpick that I had with the storytelling of the anime. There comes a point in the anime where a character gets kidnapped in broad daylight at a crowded mall with a bunch of people standing around, and nobody came to help them. That scene was so unrealistic, it just baffled me. I was shocked at this scene, and it's the only scene in this entire anime that really stood out to me just of how ridiculous it was. I was like, seriously, no one's gonna call for help? No one's gonna help this poor person who's getting kidnapped right now? No one's gonna call the security guards? Really, Japan? Really? I just chalk it up to poor writing. I mean, they just needed a way to have the character get kidnapped without any big fuss whatsoever. So they just wrote it that they got kidnapped and they got away, that's it. So overall, although I really enjoyed some of the supporting characters and their interesting backstories, the anime as a whole just suffers from way too many issues that can't be ignored. Like a weak main story that is so uninteresting and unengaging, 2 leads that you don't give a shit about and feel no romantic connection with, weak characters, unexplored situations and plot lines, and a flip-flop tone. And that's why I'm going to give this anime a 3 out of 5 stars. It's okay. If you don't see Sankarea, no one's gonna beat you up for it, trust me. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you really like it? Or did you find it really boring and mundane, you really didn't care? And let me know, is there a scene in an anime that you've seen that you found so ridiculous that it took you right out of the anime? Like you went, nope, I don't believe that. I'm done with this entire scene, I'm done with this moment, I'm done with this anime. Comment below and let me know. And stay tuned tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Movie Warfare here on the Black Critic Guy channel featuring Agree to Disagree. And if you want a hint on who the characters will be, one is a wizard and one is a hobbit. So stay tuned for that, and I have a top 10 list coming your way tomorrow, 4 p.m. and a new video on We Live Film. And until those videos come, guys, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome to the Black Critic Guy. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony Wallet II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.